Hey everybody, it is the TexAgs Rewind. I am David Nuno, and it's a family affair here. A bunch of interns in studio, or an assistant. Cade, you're more of like the associate producer, right?
Yeah, something along those lines, yeah.
Jackson, intern. We've got Matthew Dawson at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, intern. The reason I wanted to bring the whole group together is we started today's show talking about our basketball matchup, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't want to get into that because we've already discussed that.
Yes.
What I do want to bring up is how this guy, Jackson, got so jealous about me beating him in basketball that he wanted to be like, was that good English? He wanted to be like, he was like, well, how much can you bench, bro?
I do remember that. I recall him asking that, yes.
Like, Nick, you can even, well, they don't have headphones. I can hear it. But like, yes, you can bench more than me. And I made the response, I assume, tell me how you guys feel about this, but pound for pound, I'm stronger.
That was the term. It was pound for pound.
Pound for pound.
I couldn't remember what it was.
And he says, what does pound for pound matter? I want a ruling on this. Nick, does pound for pound matter? Yes, David, it matters.
I don't even know what's going on.
Okay, don't worry about it. Dawson, does it matter, pound for pound?
As someone who needs every pound they can get, yeah, I'll say it matters.
Kate?
I would argue that it matters. That's how they do UFC fighter rankings, so I think that's how it works, yeah.
If you can lift your body weight, and I lift 1.5 times more my body weight, I win the bench press battle. That's just the way it works. I don't make the rules. It's
yes,
just
I
life.
agree, David. I'm on your
Nick.
side. Sorry,
I think it's
wasn't
big
listening.
that you actually came on here and said that I can lift more than you. That's a step in the right direction.
Well, it depends on what we're talking about.
Bench press, of course.
Yeah, you could, but you should bench more than me. Just like I should bench more than my son.
All right, I got you in endurance then.
Okay. Okay, do you want to tell him? You want to tell him?
But see, pound for pound, Jackson is more. He might have more endurance.
There's no chance, pound for pound or not.
How about this? You go bench press, I'll go endurance.
I'll do both.
So we'll trade off.
You know this is how I roll.
What kind of endurance are we talking about?
It doesn't matter. Swimming? Gotcha. I don't even know. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Running? Gotcha.
Nah.
Biking? 100% got you.
Up for debate.
When's the last Ironman you did?
I don't know. It's probably a couple months back.
Yeah, that means never. Let's talk about what was on the show today. Cade, you tell the people, what was your favorite part?
I really enjoyed having Buzz on just to get his take on how the basketball is going. It's always good to hear from him, guy at the top. You know, he knows.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson. What was your favorite part?
I always love hearing about football recruiting. Always will.
Billy was here for that. That was awesome. Mr. Dawson?
I like angry OB. I think we get the best out of OB when he's angry. He was angry today.
We had all that, and our favorite, Tom Hart. People love to talk about him on the boards because he loves A&M. So we had him on the show again, and it's what we do. It is the TexAgs Rewind. All right, let's pay off the tees. Let's get into coaches with something to prove. I wrote down 3.
Okay.
All right. I think Deion Sanders has something to prove.
Okay.
All right. He's had all this hype, and he's got all these recruits and all these transfers, and it's all about him. His son's just bought him a mansion. Must be nice.
Yeah, right. Like he can't afford his own mansion.
He put the spotlight on himself.
Mm-hmm.
So now, in his year moving into the Big 12 and all the spotlight and Shedeur Sanders last year there before he goes into the NFL, he's got something to prove this year that he is not just this splash, that there is some substance around his football program that does not include just beating TCU week 1. Something of substance there.
True.
So I got Deion on my list.
Mm-hmm.
I got Ryan Day on my list.
Okay, I can see that.
Ryan Day has to not only beat Michigan, I think they got to win it all. They got all the talent in the world. I'm not saying they're going to, but they've lost, 3 straight years to Michigan? Does that sound right?
I think that's right.
3 straight years to Michigan. Michigan should not be the same Michigan team. They've lost everybody. They lost their head coach. They lost their star players. Ryan Day's got to get something done this year. And he's got stuff done the last couple of years, just not enough for their fan base. Right. He's got to get it done this year.
Okay.
And I got Billy Napier on there.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have Billy Napier on mine.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, and no offense, Billy, but I'm rooting against you, man.
Especially when A&M goes there.
Especially when A&M goes there.
But I think that is a huge, they've got a tough schedule. He's got all the spotlight on him. The whole thing with the tampering and, not tampering, the NIL, I'm sorry.
Yeah. When they offer kids tons of money and then when
didn't have the money to back it up.
Yeah.
This is a huge year for Billy Napier. Those are my 3 coaches with something to prove in 24. I know there's more, but those I just came up with 3.
How about the dubious Cuban Mario Cristobal?
Mario.
Everybody keeps talking about how good he is. What a great coach. What a great coach. Not only is he, I think, 12-12 in the last 2 years, but at least he'd be 13-11 if he knew to take a knee.
It is a total knife fight for the teams in the middle of the pack in the SEC that are kind of hovering around. According to Lenardi, A&M came in this weekend as an 8 seed projected. And I know that the committee doesn't consider conference affiliation or conference records, but it's the easiest comp when you have similar teams who have played each other head to head, maybe even multiple times. And I look at where Ole Miss is and where A&M is and what South Carolina has done and Georgia and Florida. And outside of maybe the top 4 in the league, it is an absolute brawl for everybody else to try and establish their credentials leading into Selection Sunday. Not to mention, compete for a conference title.
Tom, have you reached a point that you worry about them getting into the tournament?
Well, I do. And I think there's legitimate concern because of what we've seen offensively. It's pretty easy to figure out what the formula is for A&M to be successful and to score points. I had that LSU game, a week ago where they had like 27 second chance points. Anderson Garcia is just an absolute magician. And with the way, Taylor was more efficient this weekend. He shot the ball well. Boots was not efficient. So you got to really rely on the offensive glass. And Buzz talked about this after the game. You also have to protect your own defensive glass. So if it's one thing to get 20 offensive rebounds, but if the opposition gets 16 or 17 and you're only +3, you're not creating that many extra possessions to then make up for a poor shooting percentage and being inefficient in terms of the shots that you get up. Listen, the resume is good. I was just going over the resume for A&M and the opportunities that they have left.
Yeah, I think we were fine offensively, to be honest. You can always look at different things in a one-possession game. The first thing is we're going to play in a lot of one-possession games, two-possession games. We beat Kentucky, it's a two-possession game. We beat Missouri, it's a two-possession game. We lose at Arkansas, it's a one-possession. We lose on Saturday, it's a one-possession. So the first thing is there's probably not going to be only one category. There's going to be several different categories you can point to in a one-possession game. Health being one of them. We want to be healthy. We want to play our best guys as much as we can, as often as we can. We do need to make a higher percentage of shots. Our offense is ranked 30th in the country. A lot of that is because we offensive rebound. We don't turn the ball over because we shoot the ball so well. We get fouled at a high rate. We don't turn it over, and we offensive rebound. We got fouled at a high rate on Saturday. We just didn't make a high percentage of them. So we missed 10 free throws. That's hard to do in a one-possession game. We're up 9 with 3 minutes and 13 seconds to go in the first half and go into the locker room down 2. We come out of the locker room and they shoot 100% through the first ATO. So with 3:13 left to go in the first half, Texas A&M's winning by 9. With 15:58 to go in the second half, Texas A&M is losing by 11. That's a 20-point swing. Ooh. That's a lot in an 8-minute span. Well, the next 12 minutes, we played really good. We had 4 turkeys, and we went from down 11 to up 7. And, you can always, there's going to be runs. Basketball's a make-miss game, all the things that you hear people say. With 3:55 left to go in the game, we're up 7. Last ATO, they're going to the line to make 2 free throws. They make them both. It's our ball. We're up 5, 3 minutes and 55 seconds. It's our ball. Let's close it down, and we never got to stop the rest of the way.
Bronny and Howell have been high on, and when I watch him, I'm like, this dude's a real player. There he is right there, Dejon Petway.
Brian's been talking about and Jason for a
I
long
think
time.
I think he's, first of all, it's Damian Sanford's brother. One of those guys that you had a great in with. So closing him out early is tremendous. I also know he's somebody, I've got a really strong feeling anyway, that the Texas A&M staff very early upon evaluating 25 felt like must have, really a great fit with what we want to do defensively. And he's just a playmaker. And I think he's one of the top, he plays safety. I think he's one of the top cornerback prospects in the state of Texas. And to get a guy like that early on, and look, it is still a real position of need, especially when you went so heavy portal.
Yep.
Some of those guys will be here longer term, but a lot of them won't. And when you're talking about a 2025, some of them will be gone after this year. Certainly, several of them will be gone after 2 years. And that would be this season and a true freshman year, and then a guy like Petway's ready to roll because he's that talented. He's a guy that I would expect like come in here, has the potential to start as an underclassman on a really good SEC defense. He's that level. He makes plays in the passing game, run support. You see a real feel for the football, a real nose for the football, real feel for the game from him, and that's so important nowadays with DBs when it comes to just angles and making plays in space, sniffing things out, and range when the ball's in the air. He checks every one of those boxes to me.
Yeah, linebacker, cornerback, and he had a lot of, Coach Elko and the team had a lot of others in to visit this past weekend. Just, it feels, tell me if I'm right about this, but does it feel a little bit about when Jimbo had his clicking and like, oh, look who's coming and look who. It's like we haven't missed a beat.
Obviously, you have to you have to comment, you have to subscribe. You can even share.
I think I want that jacket. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. It's,
I think I want it.
Nothing too crazy. It's not too warm.
It's a good look.
Nice little Arc'teryx, yeah.
All right, bench press us on. I couldn't even think of something to rhyme with bench.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
okay.
All right, we'll see you next time.